As an editor, I spend a lot of time at my desk, and something I could use is a more ergonomic setup. So in front of me, we got the Naya Create ergonomic keyboard. It's a modular keyboard, and it promises to be designed for a healthy hand position and software that lets you tweak it to your desires. Every keycap has been individually sculpted to provide an optimal typing experience. So it looks like the way this is designed is they have like proprietary keycaps, and then where you put them, they actually have to go in specific spots. I assume we'll find out more about the hot swappable switches later. So we'll just throw this away for now. Dream it, make it. So in here we have a pretty premium like travel case. Comes with a keycap puller, as well as, maybe this is to keep the modules like safe and secure. So here it looks like we have the left keyboard. We got QWERT here. We don't have QWERTY on this left hand, so that's where it splits. But I'm noticing a couple of extra keys. We got these 3 keys here at the bottom. I assume they're gonna be for like mouse click, but I don't actually know yet. I can see what they mean by these proprietary key switches. Like they're very, very thin here, and they're red. Yeah, those are definitely linears. And here we have the right keyboard. We have everything from Y all the way up to P on this side, as well as some extra keys again on the side. And then I assume here we actually have the space for the modules. Let's unbox those now. So we actually only have 3 of the 4 modules today. There's the 4th one, which is coming soon. It's called the Float. It's like a joystick. This is a small touchpad. It lets you use gestures. You can create touch zones for more shortcut options. And it also has a 3-day battery life. Let's snap it in and let's get a new module in here. Here we have the Naya Create Tune, described as a big dial button. It has haptics, and it has an LED ring light on top. I think it's like around here. And the top is also a touch surface, so you can also do gestures on it. I mean, that seems really cool. I would love to see how this works. I can see this being really useful as a video editor, you know, adjusting dials or scrolling or scrubbing the timeline. Like this would just be so much easier than me having to use a mouse and going back and forth across the timeline. So hopefully this works really well. Subtle foreshadowing. And the last module we have here today is the Track. It's a trackball. It has 4 custom buttons around on the outside. You can probably remap these, and I'm interested in incorporating this into my workflow. I've always wanted to try a trackball again, and it should be cool, it should be fun. Wii ball. Now that we have the whole thing out of the box, let's get to setting it up. Let's see what kind of adjustments we can make. It looks like you have 3 different axes to kind of bend and twist this to your pleasure. That I can't say. So there's 2 pivot points. You can actually pivot this one up and then kind of back to 180 degrees. And then on this end with the module, you can pivot kind of down and kind of give it that. I guess this is more of an open hand position. If you want to like kind of work like this and keep your hand open. I still feel like I'm having a little bit of issue trying to reach this. Maybe it's just my hands. Maybe it's just not made for me, but I think the trackball is the way to go. I think this feels good. You should be able to, you know, scroll by like twisting it and using these kind of either as mouse buttons or using these as mouse buttons. Set it up to however you want it. I think that's the whole kind of point of this thing, right? I guess the only thing left to do is to hook this up to a computer and fiddle with the software a little bit. But not before a word from our sponsor.
Who's a silly little guy? Ugreen's Nexo Air is a little guy. 74% littler than other 65-watt chargers to be specific. It's a sleek and lightweight charger that can fold up and tuck away into any bag and support your favorite Apple devices or any other device of that matter. The Nexo Air is compatible with MacBook Air, MacBook Neo, iPhones, iPads, AirPods, and more. Shout out to the EU for forcing USB-C for everything. It can take a MacBook Air from 0 to over half a charge in about 30 minutes, or your iPhone 17 Pro Max can get to 68% in the same amount of time. Plus, they come in a variety of colors like Starlight Blue, Space Gray, Cosmic Orange, and Lunar White. Check out the Nexo Air and the rest of Ugreen's portable Air lineup using our link in the description.
We're back, and we got the keyboard set up. We got the Y splitter going, connected to one USB-C cable into the computer, and we got Naya Flow on the MacBook screen here. So let's take a look at the software. So right here, it's looking like we got the whole layout. It's telling me every single one of these buttons, what they do, which is very helpful. From what I see here, it looks like that you have different layers. So this is how you get to different sections on the keyboard, such as like arrow keys, because there's no arrow keys on these right now. These two buttons here are the layer 1 toggles. If I hold the layer 1, I'll go down to layer 1. And these are all the layer 1 keys. And then there's another layer button. This will take us to the system layer, which will take us to what's basically an FN menu. As you can see, when I'm using this LED on off switch, it's only turning on and off the left one. That's because the right one is broken. These are pre-production units. The software is also in beta, so I'm expecting to run into some bugs here and there. But let's hope that it's not as bad as what beta software can sometimes be. Looks like when you choose the different modules here, you can actually configure them. And there is actually a resistance to this tune module. Like, it's not just like a smooth turn. There's like a little bit of a bump, and it's pretty, what am I saying? There's resistance to the tune module. And then it also looks like the tune module has finger swipes. So you can actually do one finger swipe up for vertical scroll and horizontal scroll. 2 fingers will actually increase the brightness, and oh, I decreased the brightness. We're back. And then swipe right and swipe left is fast forward rewind. So you don't actually have to go to the system keys. And 3 fingers is brightness up, brightness down, next track, previous track. Those seem all like really useful controls. I want to rebind this rotate. I don't want this to be volume control. I can set it to a letter. I can set it to a modifier. Holy cow, there are a lot of settings. We got Windows settings, like I can cut the selected text to clipboard. There's VS Code, Visual Studio Code presets. So this, I guess this is really useful if you're a programmer. I will say I did use this downstairs at my PC during an 8-hour workday, sorry Linus, and struggled a lot. It was not a fun experience. Right now, using this on the Mac, it is actually running a lot better. I don't know if it's an install issue or if it's just because the software is in beta and it got an update since then, but I'm having a pretty good time with this software right now. Let's just see if I can figure out this tune setting though. This is an issue I was running into before. I would try to change this Naya tune setting, and when I change it, it doesn't actually change it, and it's still doing the audio speaker control. Maybe this is just a bug with the software. Maybe I'm even changing the wrong thing and I'm missing a setting. I'm not sure. Let's try out another module. So it looks like on the trackball, we have the 4 custom buttons. You can set them to do different things for tap, hold. I mean, overall, a lot of customizability. It's gonna take a lot of fine tuning, I think, to get it perfectly exactly how you want. But I think once you set it up to perfectly however you want, the height of the keyboard, the, you know, how many ticks per rotation on the trackball, I think it can be a really powerful tool in your arsenal. I'm gonna switch out the trackball, they are hot swappable, and I'm gonna put on the touchpad and we're gonna try this out. So just like that, starts lighting up, boom, we're good to go. And now I now have a touchpad. Holy cow, this thing is fast. Okay, this is way too fast for how the trackpad is, how I would want a trackpad. Like, I am not getting the level of precision I would want. I set it to 1, it is still way too fast. I'm starting to feel like the trackball might be the way to go for me. And guys, trust me, like, I know how to use a trackpad. Like this is really nice. I love the MacBook Pro trackpad. This thing, maybe not. This trackball is definitely giving me more precision. Let's jump into an editing software and I'm gonna start, you know, cutting some stuff. All right, we're inside of Final Cut Pro, a editing software that I have 0 hours in. But so far, I'm finding the trackball is giving me a lot of good precision. Do I feel like this is ergonomic though? If I'm sitting back and I'm relaxed and I'm locked in,
relaxed and locked in
at the same time. If I'm sitting back and I'm looking at my screen, I mean, I feel ergonomic. I feel like I'm one with the keyboard right now. However, there's one thing that I do not like. How am I supposed to use this trackball and clicks like this without moving my entire hand? Am I wrong? Please, someone in the comments tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel like if I want the precision on a trackball, I gotta do it like this. You know what I mean? I gotta move around like this with my index finger or my pointer or both. This requires you to relearn a lot. And I think that's something that has put me off of ergo keyboards in the past. And jumping into something like this has been like a pretty big leap, I think, right now. I feel like the trackball should be down here, you know? Let's try a quick little typing test. I'm sure I'm gonna get 30 words per minute or something on this thing. We got 22 words per minute. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think it is just the way I type. I don't think I type like a normal human being. I mean, I guess I could do a base reading on the MacBook keyboard here. I'm not that bad at typing. It's just the way I type is different, I guess. And for something like this, it doesn't really work. Naya claims that this is a columnar key layout. It's designed to like naturally form to the way people's fingers extend with a grid-like layout. It's not it for me. I would almost have to relearn typing. One thing we noticed actually when going to the Monkey Type website was the trackball is super intuitive. Like I actually love this trackball. There's something with the whole scrolling thing. You can actually rotate the ball and you'll get like a haptic feedback and it will actually scroll up and down the website. So this is probably my favorite thing out of this keyboard, other than if this tune thing worked. Now, the elephant in the room for this entire setup, just the two keyboards, $499. You add in the modules, the touch is $80, the trackball is $100, the tune is $169. And then remember when we talked about those extra keyboard switches, like the kind of samples that they gave in the box? Those are actually the hot swappable switches that you can switch out on the keyboard, $50 US for the set of 70 keys. They are KO switches. If you have an ergonomic keyboard or if you're thinking of switching up your workstation and trying to become a more epic editor, a more epic typer, a more epic programmer, you know, and you're not just like vibe coding all the time, maybe this is for you. I might revisit this again once it's out of pre-production and out of beta on the software. I might even just pick up the tune. The keyboard, unfortunately, I don't really like it that much, but that's just my opinion. And you might have your own, so leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see a more affordable keyboard, go check out the Razer ProType Ergo that we unboxed previously on this channel.